I've never seen him before in my life.
Deny the vehicles. Take the money.
The film opens in silence, then chaos. Behind a rundown warehouse, 4 drug dealers work quickly around a van, sealing a shipment with practiced ease. Their contraband is hidden inside hollowed-out watermelons, a clever disguise meant to fool inspections and checkpoints. They don't notice the sniper. From a distant rooftop, Harper watches through his scope, breathing steady. One precise shot rings out. A guard drops instantly. That single gunshot is the signal. Within seconds, Harper's 3 teammates storm the building, moving with military precision. Inside, the dealers hear a strange noise, but brush it off, until one of them tries to contact the guard. No response. Then the lights die. Red emergency lights flood the room, bathing everything in panic. Gunfire erupts, shouts echo. The attackers cut through the hideout with ruthless efficiency, leaving only one dealer alive. Only then is the truth revealed. Harper isn't in charge. A man named Andy steps forward, a former Marine officer with cold eyes and unfinished business. He presses a gun to the survivor's head and shows him a photograph, demanding answers. The raid isn't about drugs. It's about revenge. The terrified man finally talks, revealing the name and location Andy has been hunting, the person responsible for his daughter's death. With the information secured, Andy notices stacks of cash piled nearby. He orders his team to take everything. Then they burn the place to the ground. The story cuts sharply back, 9 days earlier. Andy wakes alone in a remote house, the kind of place chosen by people who want to disappear. His morning is mechanical: shower, breakfast, silence. He drives to his job at a supply store, where he goes through the motions of serving customers. But his mind is elsewhere. He misses questions, fumbles transactions, stares into nothing. His boss notices immediately. Andy is pulled aside and scolded for his lack of focus. He's warned that another day like this could cost him his job. A pay cut follows. Andy doesn't argue. He knows it doesn't matter. The next day, his day off, Andy attends his weekly therapy session. He sits across from a psychiatrist, a man trying to understand grief through words. Andy listens. But whatever broke inside him can't be fixed by talking, because 9 days from now, blood will already be on the floor, and the hunt will be fully underway. During his therapy session, Andy tells the psychiatrist that he's doing better. He says it calmly, almost convincingly. But the memories don't listen. His mind drifts back to the war. Afghanistan. Andy was leading a 20-man unit on a routine operation when everything went wrong. The ambush came fast and from every direction. Gunfire tore through the squad. Orders were lost in the noise. By the time it ended, 16 men were dead. Only 4 survived. Andy was one of them. That day never left him. The guilt settled deep, turning every quiet moment into punishment. Elsewhere, life moves on, unaware of the storm coming. In a modest home, 18-year-old Rachel argues with her mother, Elaine. Elaine warns her not to spend so much time out, not to be careless. Rachel pushes back, insisting she's an adult now, capable of making her own choices. Eventually, Elaine gives in, but not without one last plea to be careful. Outside, Rachel's boyfriend, Cassius, waits in his car. The moment she gets in, he drops unsettling news. He'll be gone for a week, completely unreachable. No phone. Rachel is furious. She already knows what he does for a living. Cassius is a drug courier. Later, he invites her to come along the next day when he picks up a package arranged by his friend, Harry. That evening, Cassius collects the package and heads with Rachel to a party hosted by his college friend Bruno. The music is loud, the drinks are flowing, everything feels normal, until Harry calls, demanding the package immediately. Duty wins. Before leaving, Cassius tells Rachel he'll be back soon and asks Bruno to keep an eye on her. He never sees her again. After Cassius leaves, Bruno's friends pressure Rachel to try a new drug. She refuses at first. She's never done anything like that before. She knows it's dangerous. But peer pressure is relentless. She gives in. Minutes later, Rachel collapses. She never wakes up. Her funeral is held the next day. Only then is the truth revealed. Rachel was Andy's daughter. The loss crushes him. At the gravesite, Elaine tells Andy about Rachel's final moments, how she was scared, confused, alone. The words hollow him out. Later, Andy walks into Rachel's room. He touches her things, her posters, her bed. Her phone vibrates. A message appears from Cassius, asking her to meet him at Harry's house. Andy stares at the screen, and the pieces fall into place. His daughter didn't just die. She was killed by the people behind that message. Andy doesn't call the police. He loads a nail gun, and he goes hunting. That same night, Cassius arrives at Harry's house to collect his payment. Instead, Harry and Bruno deliver devastating news. Rachel died of an overdose at the party. Cassius explodes. He attacks Bruno, demanding answers. Why was she given drugs? Why wasn't anyone watching her? Bruno breaks down, claiming he was out getting food when it happened. Cassius leaves in rage and grief. Moments later, Andy arrives. He passes Cassius outside without realizing it. Inside, Andy strikes fast, knocking out guards, grabbing a weapon, moving with lethal purpose. He finds the main room and executes Bruno without hesitation. Harry is next. Andy demands to know where Cassius is.
Too late. Harry reveals Cassius has already left. Before Andy can react, the last guard ambushes him from behind. Harry grabs a gun, smiling as he prepares to finish the job. A gunshot interrupts him. Then another. Harry and his men drop dead. Standing in the doorway is Smudge, Andy's former comrade from the war. Smudge drives Andy home, asking what he was doing at the hideout. Andy tells him everything. His daughter's death, Cassius, the drug network. He's not stopping until it's all gone. Andy asks how Smudge found him. Smudge explains he went to Andy's house earlier to offer condolences. Andy wasn't there, but he found a note with Harry's address. That's how he knew where to go. When they arrive, Smudge invites Andy out for a drink the next night. Andy nods. The following evening, Andy receives a call from Elaine. She asks if he still has Rachel's phone. He says yes, offers to return it. Elaine refuses. She doesn't want the phone. What she wants is for Andy to come home. Andy doesn't answer, because vengeance is already in motion, and there's no turning back now. Andy tells Elaine he'll come home once everything is finished. He speaks like a man bargaining with fate, hoping there's still something left to rebuild when the blood settles. That night, he keeps his promise to Smudge and heads to a quiet bar on the edge of town. Waiting inside is Harper, once his subordinate, now a ghost of the same war. Harper offers his condolences for Rachel and tells Andy that if he ever needs help, he won't hesitate. Smudge soon arrives with another old comrade, and the four men sit together, bound by the same memories. They drink, they laugh softly, they remember Afghanistan, not as heroes, but as survivors. Harper finally speaks about the moment that still claws at him, a checkpoint, a child walking closer, hands hidden, a choice between hesitation and the lives of his unit. He chose his men, the child died. Silence follows. They break it by playing a simple bar game, but Andy's mind drifts. The others notice. When they ask what's weighing on him, Andy doesn't lie. He tells them everything. Rachel, Cassius, the drug network poisoning the city. He says he's going to dismantle it all. None of them hesitate. They tell him they're in. Elsewhere, Cassius sits alone in a restaurant, drowning in guilt. He replays the night over and over, convinced that if he had stayed with Rachel, she'd still be alive. He decides he needs to face her parents, needs to apologize. Before he can leave, 4 rough-looking men approach him, looking for trouble. Cassius refuses to engage and walks away, but they follow him outside, blocking his path. Then a car screeches to a stop. A young woman steps out, gun in hand, telling Cassius to stop wasting time and get in. They drive off as she offers her condolences for Rachel's death. Cassius asks why she helped him. She tells him the truth. His father sent her. He wants to see him. Back across town, Andy rides with Harper to meet an arms dealer. Before Andy steps out, Harper warns him. The dealer works closely with the Eastern drug lords. One wrong move could bring the entire network down on them. Andy doesn't care.
He pays cash for a high-powered rifle. When the dealer asks what it's for, Andy answers honestly. He's going after the Eastern drug bosses. The dealer laughs nervously and tells him it's suicide. Andy walks away. The dealer immediately reaches for his phone. Andy turns back. The confrontation is quick and brutal. Andy pins the man down and demands the location of the drug lord's headquarters. The dealer gives it up. A lackey lunges from behind, but Harper drops him instantly. Andy hands Harper his knife and orders him to finish it. No witnesses. Meanwhile, Cassicus and the woman stop at a convenience store for food. Inside, a man follows her with a gun. Cassicus senses danger and rushes in after her. Gunfire erupts. Glass shatters. They escape, but not for long. Outside, a group of armed men ambush them. They're captured and hauled away to a remote mine. There, the Eastern kingpin reveals the truth. The woman was infiltrating his operation, poisoning his product. Customers died, including Rachel. Cassicus demands to know who ordered it. The woman breaks. It was his father. As they're dragged toward execution, gunfire tears through the camp. Andy and the others strike fast, surgical, merciless. Thugs fall one by one. In the chaos, Cassicus escapes in a van. Andy fires after it, but misses. The dust settles. Only one thug remains alive. Harper steps forward, weapon raised, and asks a single question. Who's the biggest dealer left? The war isn't over. It's only narrowing. It quickly became clear that the abandoned building was a trap. Lucian's men had completely surrounded them. With no choice but to fight, Andy and his team scattered, picking off the attackers one by one with deadly precision. The firefight was relentless, but the former Marines' training turned the tide in their favor. Harper cornered the last surviving enemy and raised his weapon to finish him off, but Andy intervened. They needed answers. The man was forced to reveal what he knew. When asked about Elaine's whereabouts, he swore ignorance, claiming only Lucian knew. Frustration boiled over, and Harper ended the man there and then. That same night, Lucian received shocking news. His entire operation had been obliterated by Andy in record time. Fear gripped him. Convinced Andy was already closing in, Lucian decided to flee the country and planned to take Cassicus with him. But before he could escape, Andy and his team struck again, eliminating every guard in their path. Andy approached Lucian's car, gun steady in his hands. With icy determination, he demanded the location of Elaine. Cornered, Lucian offered the information, but only on one condition. Andy must promise not to harm his son, Cassicus. Lucian tried to justify his actions, insisting Cassicus had never intended to hurt Rachel, that her death was no fault of his. Andy agreed. Once Lucian revealed Elaine's location, Andy executed him swiftly and without hesitation. True to his word, he spared Cassicus, and with his team set off to rescue Elaine. Days later, Andy reunited with Elaine, and the couple reconciled. Grateful and relieved, he spoke to his companions about their victory and their bond, vowing that they would always protect each other. But reality shattered the illusion.
The team he had been speaking to, Harper, Smudge, and the other former Marine, were figments of Andy's trauma, shadows of the past, hallucinations brought on by the war in Afghanistan and the devastating loss of his daughter. In truth, Andy had survived alone. Every move he made against the cartel, every kill had been executed entirely by him. The world around him was quiet and empty. The camaraderie he had felt was nothing more than his mind reaching for comfort in a shattered reality. At that moment, Cassicus appeared, gun in hand, burning with vengeance over his father's death. He fired. Andy fell. The silence that followed was absolute, broken only by the arrival of medics. Despite their efforts, Andy's life could not be saved.